everyone, I'm Shweta from AI and DS department. I'm here to explain about my Excel project in Fundamentals of Data Science, and my topic is energy demand analysis. Have collected a data set about continental energy demand. Also, I have created a charts to show the difference between the energy demand between Europe and Asia. And here is the next chart, the energy demand between North America and Latin America. And next, let's move on to the next sheet. This is a data set for energy demand in countries from 1990 to 2019. And here I have created pivot tables between the sum of China and United States, also a pivot chart for it, and so on. Here is the data set for demand of energy in natural units. Here I have a concept called slicer. Slicer is an interactive control. Slicer makes your job easy to filter the data in table. And here I have used a slicer based on supply and in place. Let me show you an example. For example, if I choose Canada, the table changes. And in Canada, if I choose imports, the table only shows the Canada imports. Slicer can filter your data easily. And next, here is a pivot table based on the count of vector. And here also I have used the slicer. Let me also show you an example. For example, if I choose agriculture, the pivot table shows only the data based on agriculture. And also I have created it for place. Let's move on to the next sheet. Here is a data set about smart meter energy demand. And here I have used a concept called macro. A macro is typically created by recording a sequence of mouse actions using macro recorder. So let me show you an example. Let me select the table, full table, and here I have selected the table. So I have cleared the formats, and here I have inserted a button for macro. If I click on this button, the process which I have done before have came. And that's all about macros. Let's move on to the next sheet, and here is a data set, top 20 countries power generation. And in this sheet I have took only 4 energies: hydro, biofuel, solar and geothermal, and there are top 20 countries. I have also used a slicer technique in this sheet. For example, if I click on Australia, the table only shows the data for Australia. Here is also a chart for hydro, biofuel, solar and geothermal. And here I have created a pivot tables based on sum of hydro, sum of biofuel and sum of solar and sum of geothermal. Also pivot charts only for hydro and biofuel. And let's move on to the next sheet. Here is the data for energy profile of India 2019. All 28 states are here, and I have included a column called oil demand, gas demand, coal demand, solar demand. Also charts for oil demand, annual charge primary energy demand in percentage, and coal demand and biogas demand. So let's move on to the next sheet. Here is a pivot table for sum of oil and gas demand of India. Also pivot chart explains you about the oil and gas demand in India of all states. And in the next sheet, electricity demand by sector. And also I have used the slicer techniques for your region and sector. If I click on the central, the table only shows the data based on the central. And for agriculture, the table only shows the data for agriculture. Also I have created a chart here for region and based on electricity demand and the count of sector. Here I have used a technique called VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. It is a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column in order to return a value from a different column in same row. And in next sheet, I have created a pivot table based on the sum of energy demand, and here is a pivot table based on energy demand by sectors and also pivot charts. Finally, here is my dashboard. I have created a flow chart based on the importance energies in demand: hydro, solar, biofuel and geothermal. There are also many other energies which are in demand, but I have included only few energies. Here is a chart which explains the energy demand between Europe and Asia, and the pivot table between a sum of China and sum of United States, and the pivot chart. Important energy demand in countries. A chart for hydro, solar, biofuel and geothermal, oil demand, gas demand and biomass demand. Electricity demand in regions by sector. Here are the sectors: agricultural, governmental, commercial, residential, industrial and others. And here is a pivot chart to explain it easily. And biofuel demand. Here is a chart to explain you about solar and biofuel demand. And that's all about my dashboard. Thank you.